Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Stitcher. My name is Megan. You can find me on Instagram as Megan_Babauta_ or on Ravelry as MamaMadeVM. As I say, you are all very welcome here. So I like to just hop right in with all my Flosstube goodies. So I'm gonna start with my WIPs this week because I didn't actually start anything for the past couple weeks. I know, shocker. I'm also surprised. I don't know, I got a cold and then I just didn't really feel like working on anything. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't feel like working on anything. I did feel like starting anything new because you know, it's always more laborious to get something up from your stash, and I do have tons of kits already ready to go, but I don't know, I didn't start anything, all that to say, but I'm gonna hop right in with my WIPs. And the first one, this is Miss Bingley's Library. I'm stitching this on a 36 count Winter Moon 1/2, and I am stitching this with the called for like Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. Here's the pattern. I really like this one, and this is the one that I got the least amount of progress on. And I think the reason is I got a bit discouraged. So I went in and I decided to just completely finish up the roof. And I did just that. So I got the other chimney done, which was the chimney that's over here. I got this stack of books and the bird's legs started, and then I started the stack of books that the woman will be standing on, which goes right here. But so I went in here and I completed all 3 of these window panes, well, the frames, and they are stitched with a white thread. It is, let me take a look at the color. It's Whitewash by Weeks Dye Works, and I had a little bit left on my needle, so I didn't want to waste it, and I didn't want to have to rethread it onto the little floss drop that it comes on. So I decided to go in and stitch a row right here. And I think that that is what discouraged me, because I stitched that row and I don't think that you can even see it. It is invisible, really. And that has me concerned. So I feel like my fabric is very creamy. It is definitely not pure white, it is cream. And for some reason, this pure white, I mean, who am I kidding? For some reason, obviously I should have known that it wasn't gonna show up. There is a contrast. I think that you can see visibly there's a contrast, but I don't think it's strong enough to actually be able to see the whole house, and the whole house is stitched in that white. The only thing that's giving me hope is the main cover photo. The house is really close to the fabric color. So should I continue this with what I think is also really similar to the cover photo and just kind of hope for the best? I could swap it out with like a DMC white, but I really don't want to do that. I like using the over-dyed whites because I like that subtle variegation that it brings. I don't know. My other option I was thinking is I can flip-flop the house design. So I can do the shutters white and the house blue. And then I think I would change her skirt, because I'll probably need a large portion of the skein. I'd probably change her skirt to be the same red that is the little bird over here. So that's my idea. I was thinking also like, okay, well, I could change the bird to be a crow, because I live in Washington, and I mean, I'm sure this is true of many places, but there are so many crows here, like so many. You just see like a murder of them all the time. If you don't know, a murder is a flock of crows, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I read that at some point. So there's tons of them around here, and they're always outside. So I was like, okay, well, I could change the bird to be a black bird, stitch her skirt with the red, and then use the blue on the house, because that would give me enough to stitch the house. And then I could do the shutters white, because the shutters would obviously be a contrast to the color that's inside the windows, as well as a contrast to the fabric. So, and I should say as well as not a contrast to the fabric, but as well as a contrast to the house color. Because if I do the house blue and the shutters white, I think that that'll look nice. So what do we think? Is that a better idea, or should I just stitch it as called for? Because now that I'm looking at it, especially this far away, I think you can really see that like the pattern, the house doesn't really show up that well. Your eyes see the shutters, they see the door, and your brain's like, that's a house, man. So I don't know. I got discouraged after putting in that one stripe of white after doing the windows, and decided to just put it away. But I am happy with the progress that I got, at least for the books and stuff, and like starting the bird and all that good stuff. You'll have to let me know what you think though, because yeah, that's the one thing that I'm just not sure about. And I mean, I already did change the pattern itself regardless, because I went in and swapped out the Union Jack flag with a pride flag, just because I felt like that just suited me better. I don't think that it makes very much sense for me to have a Union Jack flag. It doesn't have anything really to do with like where I live or who I am or my history, anything like that. Whereas I felt like the pride flag, I live, you know, I'm the Seattle Stitcher. I live outside of the Seattle area, and it's like there's a huge pride parade. There's a big community of LGBTQ plus. So yeah, it just made more sense. And it was one of the ones that I stitched in Pride Month. So that was my only other change to that one. You'll have to let me know what you guys think though about making the swaps on there. So the next project that I pulled out is the Prairie Schooler Trick or Treat. And I love this one. I'm stitching this 2/2 with the called for 32 count. Let's see here. It's Wichelt's lambswool and all of the called for DMCs. And here is my progress. So I am happy with this one. I almost wish that I would have stitched it on like a 30 or a 28 count, just so it'd be bigger, but it is really cute. And I think that this is a perfect representation of the color of the fabric. It has like this just beautiful, I don't know how to describe it. The weave to it is like some of the shades are slightly darker, some are slightly lighter, and I really like that. It still is a pain in the butt to stitch on, but I will say the more I've stitched, the easier it's been for me to pull this out and work on it. I think still my issue is the 2/2 is just really tight on this Wichelt's fabric, but I do love the effect it gives, because I mean, my little people down here, they look so just plump and cute and full. There's just very full coverage. So what I got done in here is I added like the iris to the eye there. I started filling in the second color of her dress. I completed the trunk of this tree and got onto a leaf here. I completed the whole outline of his face except for the eyes and nose area. I got his arms in, and then I started her dress. So I am happy with this progress, and I do love this. I love this stitch. It is so freaking cute. And my needle minder is, of course, a Mad Minders needle minder. I love their needle minders. They are absolutely amazing, and the magnets are so strong. So I highly recommend. But yeah, I'm really liking this. I do realize now, because I'm learning, and as you advance with your stitching, you realize picking up projects that you started a couple months ago, like, why did I waste all this fabric? That's like the one thing I notice when I'm looking at this is I wasted so much fabric. I mean, the side margin is excessive, but it's okay. But the bottom, I mean, gosh, that's a good 4 inches. So probably more than that. That's about 4.5, almost 5 inches. So yeah, a little regret there, but honestly, I disliked this fabric so much when I first started stitching on it that I was like, I don't care that I'm wasting fabric anyways. I don't know. I think I will use the scraps for something really small and Halloween themed. It'd be really cute for a Christmas piece too, because it kind of reminds me of like a lighter burlap. But yeah, I like it. It's a fun one. I just felt like working on something Halloween themed. Oh, let me show you guys the floss colors too, because I really do love the colors of all these Prairie Schoolers. They are so pretty. So I feel like this is just a good little bunch. It's very Halloween and fall, and I was really hoping that I could get some more stuff finished, but honestly, I think because I'm so new to my stitching and this journey in general, that I kind of just want to start a bunch of things so that I can get stuff at least going, especially these larger projects. It's like I might as well start them while I'm still alive and kicking, rather than just let them sit and stash for a decade and focus on getting tons of finishes in a year, when that's not really that important, I guess. I mean, it is. I want my finished pieces. I want them hung in my home, and I want to enjoy them, but I have to start them first. So I still have just tons of stuff that is WIPs, and I'm sure you guys have noticed that. So the next one I pulled out, this is the Suffrage Act by Little House Needleworks. So I love this one. I think it's absolutely stunning. I love the colors. I love everything about it. There's like, it's perfect. The only thing that I'm gonna change on this, I think I'll leave her flag. She's holding as an American flag, but I'm gonna swap the bunting to be the colors of the traditional Suffrage Act ribbons, like the buttons that the women would make back then. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm worried that if I change the bunting and I don't change her flag though, that they won't correlate. But when I look at historical photos, I've yet to see a flag that is gold and purple, but I felt like the bunting would make sense. I don't know, we'll have to see what happens. This is in a me-made bag. I sewed up this bag a couple of weeks ago, and it just happened to be perfect timing with finding this pattern. And then I lined it with a nice like violet, dark purple fabric. And my progress on this one, I did do really good on this one, guys. You'll be so proud of me. So I'm stitching this 1/2 on a 32 count Wren by Picture This Plus. And if I can get it straightened up enough, here is my progress. So I am super happy with this one. I feel like I got so far. So I just had the S and the U before, and I got all of suffrage in. I started the two like lines of the upper border. I got this whole column done, including the vines and flowers, obviously. I started the bricks. I decided to go ahead and just put her shoes in because I thought they were cute, and then I started her hat. So I am really happy with this, and I really love it on this fabric. This is, again, Wren by Picture This Plus. Sorry, it's so wrinkly, but it's so pretty. I love it so much. It's just gorgeous. I think everything about it is amazing. And this is probably one that I will keep pulled out for the next couple weeks because I like it so much. I actually was just watching Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Stephanie, and Pam is working on, she actually pulled out an old FFO, or sorry, no, an old FO, because it's not fully finished yet, but she did finish all the stitching. And she's gonna go in and add a couple of other dates. I believe it was the dates that Black women got the right to vote, and one other group got the rights to vote. And I thought, what a good idea. She had seen the idea from an Instagram post, and so I'm hoping that she is able to track down the post so that I can also mimic it, because I think that that's an awesome recollection. And what I could do is, do you see where it says vote and then it has these 2 rows of stars? I think I could put 2 more dates there. So not only would it say like the 1920, but I could have 2 other years above that. So that's what I'm thinking. If anyone happened to watch that episode and knows what I'm talking about, and they happen to see that same post, let me know. I also, guys, I'm like fangirling so hard. I don't know which one of the ladies, but the Just Keep Stitching ladies commented on one of my last videos. Mind blown, mind blown. I like called my husband, just kidding, I didn't, but I thought about it. So here are all of my flosses. I am using the called for flosses, but again, as I did purchase the called fors, I also additionally purchased a gold and a purple. So those are the ones that I'm planning to use for the bunting, probably including the antique lace. So it'll be gold, white, and purple. I think that'll be cute. And I kind of do want to make the flag. I don't know. You know, it's always tricky when you're changing something because I love the pattern so much. So it's, you know, it's hard to decide. But I'm loving this progress. I'm so proud of myself because I feel like I did a good job. I feel like usually I'm like, oh my gosh, I barely got any stitching done. And I felt like with this one that I got a ton done. I also have in the bag, this is a Morgan hoop. I purchased this off of Amazon. It's the 5-inch hoop, so it's pretty small. I have a small head, so you can see. But I love this hoop. It is amazing. So much like the Nerd hoop, it has those indentations in it. So you can see it has like a lip where the top base fits into it and really clamps down on your fabric. But something about this one, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that it is a circle and not the rounded square, but it holds my fabric tighter than the Nerd hoops even. I know. Sign you up, people. Go and grab them while you can because these are amazing. They're pretty affordable. I will say, obviously Amazon's a marketplace, so it's always in flux. And I went and sent the link to one of my friends and I realized that it had already gone up a couple of dollars in cost. So I just have the smallest size. It's super lightweight It keeps your fabric drum tight, just as tight as a Q-snap. I really, really have been enjoying this. I think that it'll replace my inner tube in the places where I am deciding like, oh, let me pull out my inner tube, but I'm definitely gonna keep my inner tube, all that to say, because I do like rotating. I don't like always using a Q-snap. And honestly, I usually take my projects off of whatever I have them on every single night. So when I'm done stitching, I put all of it away, unless I know that the next morning I'm gonna have my cappuccino or my latte or whatever, and I'm gonna sit down and stitch with it. So really happy with that. Loving the Morgan hoops, highly recommend. I just want to give you guys an update because I did talk about that hoop, like the acquisition of it, probably like a month ago. But now after using it, I definitely recommend. I really like it. So my next project, this is in one of those cheapy Amazon bags. You guys know I love these bags. They are like the best. And in here, I have my Thea Gouverneur Lady and the Unicorn. I got the linen kit, but they also sell an Ada kit. And here is my progress. So I'll have a picture of where I was last time. And here I am now. Isn't it so great? I just love this piece. So there was like some stitches I was missing up here, got all that completed, and then I dropped down to get onto another bundle of flowers down here. But I am really happy with this. This is in an 11 by 11 Q-snap. It has this is a needle dot from 123 Stitch. And if you're curious, I think the name of it was an agate needle dot. Honestly, I think I just looked up blue needle dots because I wanted a blue needle dot, and that's what popped up. It's more teal, but it is pretty. I like it. So really enjoying this project. This was what I did decide to pull out for Pride Month and start specifically for Pride Month, because I thought, I mean, what is more magnificent than the Lady and the Unicorn? Absolutely nothing is. That's what. It's amazing. So I'm really happy with this. Thea Gouverneur, I'd say, is just an amazing artist and it's amazing to me how she's able to translate her artistry into needlework, because the shading is wonderful. My only downside, which I've spoken about this before, is when you buy the pattern and you take out the flosses that they're DMC flosses, and that is obvious because they are branded up at the top there. You can see there's a lot of floss cards, so it's a lot of floss. But when I was talking to Denise, she is the owner of Thread Needle Street out in Issaquah, Washington. She has this stitched and hanging over her like cash wrap area, over her till, and it's beautiful. I absolutely love it, and I definitely don't regret purchasing it from her. I love supporting a local business. I know that the Thea Gouverneur stuff is expensive regardless, so I knew what I was getting into. I think my issue is, I wish with the DMCs, she gave you a conversion list, not a conversion to another brand, but just told you what each symbol was for the actual DMC number. It's just symbols. And you would have to have one of those DMC thread books with the actual threads, honestly, to be able to get the comparison for all of these colors. And can you imagine how time consuming that is? I mean, look at all that. That's a lot. And I mean, this piece in general is just massive. I mean, it is huge. So it's disappointing to me, because what she does is, if you run out of flosses and you don't have that thread pack, or say you used all that you have, so you don't have anything to make a comparison to, you actually have to go onto her website and order it, and she is shipping from overseas. And I'm sure not only that, but the DMCs, she probably charges a bit more. So you have to order another floss pack just to be able to get the completion and finish up your piece when you've already spent $140 to kit up the project in the first place. I mean, I don't think that that's an unreasonable cost for what it is, because you're getting a ton of DMCs, you're getting linen fabric, you get a needle, which is a John James needle, and you get, I mean, it's a full kit, a beautiful pattern. It's really well charted, but it's just, I don't know, something about that bothers me. And then I feel like you would have to photocopy it all yourself if you wanted to pass the stash along to a friend, because I'm having to highlight off every portion that I'm done with because there's so many color changes. And that makes it to where I feel bad if I pass this along, because not only would the person not know the DMCs that are needed, but it'd be impossible to figure out. I mean, someone did though. So all that to say, someone did actually figure out what DMCs are called for. And I do have that list. So if you are wanting the list, let me know. I'll put my email on the screen here, or you can find me on Instagram and I'll send you the pictures because I think I still have them. But yeah, one of my followers sent me the thread pack. Only thing is, another thing that is disappointing, her colors are different depending on the pattern, or that's what the person who told me, hey, this is for this kit, but I've heard that the Ada calls for different than the linen, and so, you know, take it with a grain of salt, I suppose. So that is all of my knitting WIPs. I'm really happy with that progress. If that's all you stuck around for and you're not interested in my knitting or in my acquisitions, then thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. It definitely helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate you guys who are sticking with me through this like crazy learning journey. I do have all my Needlework Expo stuff that I ordered. It got to me from the Top Knot Stitcher. So if you guys are interested in that, that'll be at the end of the video during acquisitions. So with my knitting though, I actually do have some knitting finishes. So for starters, I guess I'll start with the boring of the bunch. Not that this is boring, because I actually love it, but compared to my other FO, it's kind of boring, I guess. So this is, it still has the threads. I need to weave them in because I never weave in the threads until after I'm completely done blocking. But this is a little simple beanie, and I have the pattern written up in my, like if you go to my project page on Ravelry, you'll see a photo. It looks like this. And that photo will connect you, then in the notes has the pattern, because this is a pattern that I made up myself. I like this 4 decrease section with a really small pinpoint closure. That's my favorite way to decrease. I like a fingering weight hat because I mean, it's not even that I'm a super warm person, and it gets chilly here, but I find that I don't really need anything heavier than a fingering weight. If anything, I want the weight to be like maybe like a Carhartt style, or like the beanie I'm wearing now. It's a very fine knit, but it's double layered. And so I kind of concocted my own over the years, kind of perfecting a hat for my husband, Daniel. And I have a whip stitched brim. So I knit about like usually 4 to 6 inches, and then I whip stitch the brim together. So that way, if you want to make it like I think this is like a cab driver or a New Yorker style hat, where it's a very short hat. I mean, short, and it's just like on the back of the head. I mean, it's just like on top of the head. It doesn't cover bangs, nothing, but I've seen a lot of men and women really pull off that style well. Just a lot of people, and it looks super cute. So I knit mine like that, and I make it to where then when you fold up the brim, it's still knit stitches. It's not garter or purl bumps, because I like the way it looks. So yeah, this is my simple little beanie. And I knit this for a friend. I'm gonna knit that same person a couple of more and then ship them off. So that'll be awesome. And my next FFO is this one. I guess I should just say finished object, my next FO. And I'll put a picture here of me wearing it. This is the Elia Sweater. And I really like it. I guess I'm just having a hard time envisioning when I'm going to wear it. I like it. I think it has like a romantic style to the upper yoke of the sweater because of the cabling and the lace work. I love the color. The colors absolutely got me sold. I would love to knit another sweater in this color. It's just stunning. I would actually love to knit a like shawl or like a scarf maybe. But I do really like this cable lace. I think it's beautiful. A lot of people are saying that this looks a lot like the, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put a picture here, and I actually want to knit this pattern. I have it in my Ravelry queue, and I have had it for years in my library, but I don't know, for some reason I decided to knit this one first. So I like the fit of it. Hopefully I put some pictures up in here so you guys can see. It's a little oversized. It's not too long, not too short. I kind of wanted an in-between. I'm planning on wearing this, I think, with like some linen overalls over it. That's kind of like my go-to look for the fall and winter. I get my linen overalls on Amazon, if you guys are curious. But the things I changed, I didn't re-pick up the neckline and knit it any tighter. I liked the loose neckline. With the sleeves, I just did not follow the decrease pattern at all. I just did what I felt like was right. And I decreased a little bit heavier at the end, and I just picked up with a smaller needle and bound off so that it would kind of fold over like this natural look. I didn't want to have the huge cuff of ribbing. I just felt like this sweater suited this like just natural kind of rolling over on itself. Something about it I just thought really, really suited the sweater. I like it, I'm happy with it. I feel like the detail at the bottom was a little bit lost. It's like you knit a few rows of regular, like, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what it's called. Ribbing. You knit a few rows of regular ribbing and then you alternate. So that's like a few rows and then you swap to being like where you were knitting before you're purling, where you're purling before you're knitting, etc. And I do really like that, but I kind of think it got lost in the rustic wool, especially because the wool has a little bit of a, I mean, you can see there's some color variation to it. And there also is a cable detail that runs down the side. And I do really like that. I think that's pretty. I think you guys can see as well how lightweight this is. It's a little see-through, it's very lightweight, but I like it. It's cute, comfy. I love this color. Brown is probably like, brown and black are probably my favorite colors. I like some shades of like warm pinks. I like some shades of blue. I love blues, but I don't wear a lot of blues, so I try, but I always end up reverting back to like all black or brown. So those are my finished objects, but my next WIPs for my knitting are my classic sweater. This is a Spastico pattern. I altered it already by changing the neckline to be a fold over neckline, and I did follow the raglan increases, but I pretty much just stopped when I knew that it was already going to be oversized. So I got to a point where I was like, wow, this is a lot of stitches, and I'm usually about a women's small medium, and that made it to where I was like, okay, this is more than enough stitches. I think that this is like a 30-inch needle, and this is, as you can see, quite bunched up on here. So I knew that it was going to be oversized enough for my liking, and I split for the sleeves. So the sleeves right now are on just a thread of fingering weight wool that I had in stash, some leftovers actually from the Elia Sweater, and they're gonna sit like that until I finish the body. So I'm gonna knit the body and just continue knitting it in the round. I have only gotten a few rows past this is where the armhole is like starting, and so I've only gotten a few rows onto the main body, but I'm really liking this sweater so far. It's a fun knit, it's really easy. Now that I'm in a stockinette body, it's just gonna be like TV knitting, you know, that kind of knitting where you can just pick it up and go, and I love that kind of knitting. I'm really enjoying the fiber. I feel like I've been saying what the fiber is. So it's Lore by the Fiber Company, and I'll have to put a picture here because I don't remember the colorway. I think that I'm just using natural, but I could be wrong. And so I thought that this was a Corriedale, because I swear I had heard someone else mention that it was, but this is a lamb's wool. I don't know what kind of lamb, but it says it's a lamb's wool. So I'm really enjoying this sweater. I'm enjoying the yarn a lot. I just bound this one up into a ball by hand because I was too lazy to get out my my Swift and ball winder and all that. So I'm really liking that. It's been awesome. And the next one I've been working on for a while is my half and half triangles wrap by Pearl Soho, and this one I am knitting with Holst Super Soft. You guys know I love me some Holst Super Soft. It is very, very rustic. So I will say, if you are very sensitive, don't go and buy this yarn because I recommend it. If you're like me and I don't know, something about like your Norwegian bloodline is still clinging on and telling you that wool is not itchy, I'm just kidding. But that's what I'm gonna blame, is that for some reason I'm not super sensitive to wools. But here is my progress. So I started the brown. You can see I got pretty far. I'm showing you the wrong side. It's still quite see-through. I think you can. Okay, hopefully I didn't change like portions too much. My phone just randomly like stopped the video. So I think I was just showing you guys my progress on my half and half triangles wrap. I'm super happy with this. I don't have very much left to do. I love the project. It is my go-to for like when we're knitting, or when I'm knitting and Daniel's watching TV, but I like the show he's watching kind of thing. And I knit this without looking. It's just short rows, and you're just doing a wrap and turn, wrap and turn. It's a free pattern, so I'm not giving away the secret sauce, don't worry. But I love this project and it's so pretty. So essentially, it's gonna be too big to wear as a shawl, to be honest. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is probably wearing this more like around the house as like a blanket shawl. But I'm really happy with the contrast color that I chose. The Tobacco by Hull Super Soft is just perfect. Sorry, I dropped a bunch of stitches. One thing I like about more rustic wools as well is like I can be throwing this around and I'm not worried about when I drop stitches because they're not gonna like continue to ladder down. But yeah, I'm really liking it. It's just massive. It's like I'm on my very tippy toes and you're just seeing the bottom of it. So it's huge, but it's gonna be a really fun one. I think it'll look great on my couch. Here is my cone update. As we have established, I have a small head, so don't be alarmed that it is the same size as my head. But I love this color. It's just beautiful. Probably one of my favorite shades of brown. I really wanted something that was pretty close to the shade of this sweater. I feel like I did really well based off of purchasing it online, just looking at photos. I think it's like maybe a shade darker. In person, there's less of a difference even. So I'm really happy with that. And those are all my WIPs when it comes to all of my crafty goodness. Now I'm just going to move on into acquisitions. So I'm gonna pull that stuff out. Okay, so I went and I visited my Aunt Joanne and she gave me just some amazing patterns. Not only that, but she gave me even a pattern book that's absolutely spectacular. So I'll show you guys those as I get to them. But first off, I have this pattern, which is Renoir's Vase of Flowers. I'm not sure if this is based off of a painting. It looks like it was published by the Design Connection. And I don't know if they still have a website, but it looks like it was www.dcidesigns.com. I'm really excited about this pattern. I love these floral like vases. There's something about it. I love that it looks like a painting, but it's actually a cross stitch. I like when they're in like the super ornate vintage antique frames. I just love the look of it. So I'm hoping to finish this one up in the next few years once I get it kitted and do an oval frame. I think that'll be beautiful. I'm thinking maybe like honestly something that's maybe the color of linen that I'm using for the Lady in Unicorn. I think that'd be beautiful, or even a black. I think black would be stunning as well. So that was my first acquisition from her. Super sweet of her. The next one is So Many Stitches, Love Hills Designs. I think this one's a super cute small, so I definitely want to make this into a little pillow, but I do think I'm going to change some of the colors. Like for the gold of the scissors, I'm going to use some like actual golden, like shiny floss. I think the ABC I won't do in green, but probably like espresso or some kind of dark chocolatey brown. But I love this, super cute. So that was a cute one, and I think it'll be really fast. She gave me a pattern that she just finished stitching, and I was like, oh my gosh, that pattern is so cute. And she was like, oh, go ahead and take it. So super sweet of her, Barbara Anna Designs. And this one is called Stitchingly Ever After. It is so cute. I don't even think you guys can see how absolutely adorable it is. If I'm gonna go to her Facebook, if she lets me, I'll send her a message and get a photo of her finished piece because it is so cute. So I'm excited about starting that. And she also gave me this, which I'm super excited about. Brenda Key's Traditional Samplers, 20 cross-stitching designs celebrating the art of sample making. I think this must have been published either in the 90s. It had to have been the 90s, yeah. I'd say like the late 90s. and it is amazing. It's pretty good sized book, but I mean, there are some super pretty designs in here. I think you guys can see some of these are stunning. So I do need to go through this and mark the pages of the ones that I definitely want to stitch. But yeah, I love this. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to get some of these started. I feel like I'm never gonna have to buy a sampler again because that book has so many that I want to stitch. Next, she gave me some vintage like knitting and crochet booklets. This one looks like it's mostly baby designs. I love these little matching sets for babies, the vintage ones. They're so cute. Here's another one. Looks like that one's crochet on the cover, but there's a knitted one on the back. Here's some more cross stitch stuff, just ABCs of cross stitch. I like the cover photo here. I think it is really cute. I think I might change some of the colors if I do ever stitch that one. And it's a lot of back stitching, so that's always a little like, oh, I don't know. Some bookmarks. I like these a lot. Some of them are just super, super cute. So I think that there's like things I could change up. I love this one on the back. It says Once Upon a Time. I feel like that'd be really cute for my daughter. Some more like knitting books. Another knitting book and some stitch detail pictures. This one I especially like because I love the patterns in it. They're very retro. Montricot. Kind of an older cross-stitch finishing tips and techniques, which would probably be helpful for making a pillow. So that'll be nice. Here's one that looks like it's for towels, like little embroidered towels. So the one's not particularly my style, but it is really pretty, and I think it'd be a good gift. So I'm not sure when I'll get to that. And then the last thing she gave me, I want to say, yeah, is this amazing piece of Mystic Fabrics. It's a 36 count opal, and it is in the colorway Glow. You guys, yeah, you can't even tell. This is like neon yellow, like highlighter yellow. It is so bright. It's showing up much more like, I don't know, sunshine yellow, but it is highlighter yellow. If you have any ideas on what I should stitch on this, let me know, because I was kind of thinking like maybe something Halloween, but it also is very yellow, so it could be something very summery. But I'm like, I honestly right away think of like lemons, limoncello, sherbet, and I don't think I would ever hang up a cross stitch that's like sherbet ice cream or anything like that. But let me know if you have any ideas. And I'm talking like the Sharpie highlighter bright neon yellow. That is the color of this. It is very bright. I am obsessed. It's really pretty. I like the opalescent fabric. It's like got a slight shine to it. I like it. And it has nice modeling to it as well. So that was all the stuff that my Aunt Joanne gave me. Thank you so much, Joanne, if you're watching. I absolutely love this stuff. It's amazing. And next is the stuff that I ordered from Top Knot Stitcher for my Needlework Expo. So I'll get into those. So first I ordered the Heartstring Samplery Scary Sampler. I'm honestly not sure if I'm obsessed with this. I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, oh, so cute. I love it. But then I'm like, do I really want that? I don't know. I think if I do stitch it, I'm going to leave it up all year round. It doesn't particularly like scream Halloween to me or anything like that, but I do really like this. It is quite a large booklet. One thing I do wish is I just wish that they would have like put more on one page instead of giving you like 10 pages. I don't know. Maybe that's just a personal preference though. I'm sure it is, but I do really like this. I think it's pretty. I like that they gave you the DMC conversion. I'm probably going to stitch it with the DMCs, to be honest. I don't think that I'm going to get the fancy flosses. I do already have some of them though, so guess it'll depend. Next one I got was Needlework Bling Designs Midnight Ride. I just thought this was a super cute small. I think that this, my leftover remnants of this Pumpkin King by Atomic Ranch Fabrics, that will be perfect for this. Because I do like the blue that it's on. It's very, you know, Halloween sky, but I think that that'll look amazing. So that's my next one. I think that everyone and their sister, brother, mother ordered this Autumn Cloche by Hello Liz Matthews. If you guys recall as well, I purchased the Leo and Roxy conversion for this from Evertotes, and there was a misprint on the DMC list. So the DMC list, this dash line says it's supposed to be 844. It is not. So that was a printing error. It's actually supposed to be DMC's Winter White, which is like a creamy white shade. And I just pulled an over-dyed floss from Stash, and I think it was Obsidian was the color that Leo and Roxy had sent us, because obviously we didn't know that that was a misprint. It wasn't caught until a couple of weeks ago. And the designer posted to their story, but luckily, because I don't really watch everyone's story that I follow, but luckily I had a friend who happened to catch it. I think it was Bridgen, right, Bridgen? It was you. And she'd messaged Alexis and I and said, like, oh my gosh, the Evertote conversion is wrong because the DMC list was wrong. So totally not their fault. It's us. We we're the ones who sent them that DMC conversion, and the printer is the one who made the mistake, to be honest. So, oh well, it's just a white. It'll be an easy switch. No big deal to me. And so I've swapped mine out, and I'm really excited to start that project. The next one I purchased was Praiseworthy Stitches, Esmeraldas Academy of Charms. And it looks like this one also has some beads in it. Honestly, this is not usually my style. My LNS does carry these patterns, and she has, Denise, the owner, has tons of these, the houses. But every time I picked one up, I've been unsure. I couldn't pick, but something about this one, I just had to have it. I think it's because it says Hocus Pocus up here in the corner. But one thing that throws me off with these patterns is I've seen one of these stitched up, and it is absolutely amazing. The cover photos are terrible. They're so bad. I mean, I think you guys can see, this is so blurry. It is so blurry. I don't know why. I just have no idea, but something about it is just super blurry. And honestly, I've seen these at my LNS where even the back page, it looks like they smudged the entire ink, like they wiped a paper over it while it was still wet. But it was like that for every single copy. So it's kind of disappointing, you know, like I'm not even able to read the DMC list, because she also does choose like this funky curly font, which I think is super cute. But when you have that funky curly font and it's very thin and it's smudged, I couldn't even read some of the numbers. So I just gave up on it and never purchased one. And I was hopeful that this one would be a bit nicer. It is, you can see the back really well, but I still agree that the front cover photo could be a lot better for what you're paying. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. The next one I got is Winter White Moth by Kathy Barrick. This one, perfect example of a beautiful cover photo, very clear. And look at how clear the writing is on the back. It's also a larger font. I appreciate that. I like that. I am a glasses wearer, so obviously I have bad eyesight. I really like this one. I'm excited to start it. It looks like one that I have all of the colors for, or at least some kind of conversion in my stash, so that's exciting. And then the next one, I feel the same way, that I probably have all of the colors in my stash in some kind of way. Maybe not the called for, but very close. And this is the Primitive Hair Practical Magic. I love this movie. It's one of my absolute favorites to watch during the Halloween season, so I just had to get this. I loved the writing, everything about it. One of the witches is a redhead, the other one is a brunette. I have black hair, but usually in the like summer and spring I have brown, and my sister, she is a redhead. So I just thought this was super cute. I absolutely love it. I love the quote. I love the flowers. I did not buy the charm pack. I don't know, something about the charm pack was like too cutesy Halloween, and I think I mentioned when I was talking about the house stitch that I'm not usually like a cutesy Halloween type of person. So those are all of my new patterns, but I did get the Stitch Me Fabric of the Month, and I get the 36 count linen, and here it is. So I am really happy with this. It's a really good neutral, and I think it's gonna be really great for some of the new pieces that I picked up from Expo. So I'm excited to start something on this. I think I might use this for my autumn cloche. It's very pretty. Isn't the modeling just wonderful? And this is the colorway Sand Dollar. I'm not sure if it is one that's in her shop permanently or not, but here is the tag. So I do really enjoy that. Yeah, that is all my acquisitions and everything that I have to talk about stitchy wise. I do have one book that I've been reading, and that is the Memoirs of Glunkel. This one I just really wanted to start reading because I have a Flosstube friend. I'll put her name here, Mountain Craft Studio. I'm gonna pass this along to her. she's a big history lover like myself, and it took me so long to find this book that I was like more than willing to send it along to someone else who loves history right after I'm done with it. So I wanted to get started on it, and I did. I'm really enjoying it. Highly recommend if you can get your hands on a copy or you see it out at a thrift store, pick it up. It's so good. Just very, I don't know, it's touching. It's touching reading a mother's words to her children. She had 14 kids. It's just amazing. So really cool as well to have insight into the like middle class families' lives of the day, of the time period. So yeah, 1690. Very fascinating. So I'm really liking that book, and that is the only thing that I've been reading, really. Haven't been listening to anything on Audible or anything like that, but it's just been a crazy time. I'm kind of transitioning right now to possibly being a stay-at-home mom. I'm not sure if it's going to be permanent, but the past couple weeks I have been at home with my daughter, and that's been so much fun. I've been able to, I went and visited my aunt. She lives like past Seattle, so that was a fun drive. My daughter likes going through Seattle. She likes the buildings, so. And then I got to visit my mom, and they live like closer to the mountains, so that's always a little bit of a drive, and it's very pretty out there. So yeah, we've been really enjoying it. It's just been fun, and I like spending the time with her, so it's great. I hope that it gets to stay this way, that I get to stay home with her, but you never know, you never know what you're able to make happen. So send me all your best wishes, right? Well, thank you so much everyone for watching and sticking with me. I'm sorry this is a bit of a longer one, but hopefully you enjoyed. But have a wonderful week and stay safe out there. Bye guys.